Welcome back everybody to our intermediate and advanced Civil 3D training video series. In the previous video we took a look at our pipe rule sets, specifically in regards to sanitary and storm. Now I haven't created a water parts list because I'm going to be doing that through the pressure networks that are built into Civil 3D. We have only done it for the gravity drain systems here. We have everything from 200 to 900 plus diameter storm. In this video, it's going to be a little bit quicker. We're going to take a look at the structure rule sets within Civil 3D. Now these are a little bit different to set up and they don't always work the best way because where I live we have a couple different options when we hit a manhole with our flow in how we want to lay it out. So I'm going to start off by going to my structures, my structure rule sets, and right now we just have a basic one. However, I'm going to right click and select new. Now within the city of Calgary here, if we have flow straight through a manhole, there's a specified drop. If the flow enters the manhole and leaves in the front 180 degrees, so it diverts a little bit, then we have another specified drop. And if the flow goes into the manhole and essentially changes direction and goes backwards, we have a much larger drop. So I'm going to create the three rules for those. However, when I go and apply them, I'm going to be very, very selective as I do so. So I'm going to start off by naming this manhole drop 0.03. Now this is for straight through flow into a manhole. So if the pipe comes out and it leaves the manhole at the exact same direction, it's a 0.03 meter drop. Under the rules tab, I'm going to hit add a rule. The only category we have is storm sewer. And there's a couple different options here. We have maximum pipe size check, we have pipe drop across the structure, and we have set sump depth. I'm not going to worry about maximum pipe size check as I will monitor that myself, and I don't need Civil 3D to give me a bunch of errors and warnings. So I'm going to select pipe drop across structure and I'll hit OK. And the final rule I'm going to add is set sump depth. Now there is not actually a sump in a sanitary or a storm manhole, so I'm going to leave that for 0 because I want Civil 3D to tell me if it's not 0 anymore. Now the manhole drop coming in, or the pipe coming in, the pipe going out, same direction. The manhole drop is 0.03 meters. Essentially 3 centimeters. This one's nice and simple to set up, not too much in terms of detail here. So once that's done, I'll hit OK. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to do a 0.06 drop for both of these. And then finally, the drop that enters and essentially the flow turns around and goes backwards is a 0.15 meter drop. These drops are basically to ensure that the flow continues going through the manhole. So once those three drops are set up, I'll hit OK. And for the final one, I'm going to make one more for my catch basin itself because there is a maximum pipe size for the catch basin. And there is a specified sump that I want it to have. So I'm going to make a new rule set. And I'm going to call it catch basin rule. I'm going to add the same two rules. Or sorry, not the same two rules. I'm going to do a maximum pipe size check. And I want to add in a sump depth. Now maximum pipe size check will be a 300 millimeter pipe. I had made a mistake in the previous video. The one for Calgary is actually a 300 diameter storm pipe. And the sump depth for a manhole will be 1 meter. Not a manhole, sorry, a catch basin will be 1 meter deep. Now this is to start filtering the dirt out and twigs and leaves. And that settles in the bottom of the catch basin before the storm gets up to the level of the pipe and starts draining into our system. So we have, again, the maximum pipe size check of 300 millimeters and the sump depth of 1 meter. Now, we only use these 0.03, 0.06, and 0.15 meter drops when the incoming and outgoing pipe sizes are the same. So when I'm applying these rules, I will do so selectively based on that above information. If we have a pipe size of 300 coming in and a pipe size of 400 diameter leaving the manhole, we tend to match the crowns of the pipes, which means that will be a 100 millimeter drop, which is higher than these requirements with the exception of the 0.15. So when I'm designing my system is when I will start looking at these rules. Now, structure rules a lot easier than the plain old pipe rules. Now, it's going to be another video or two before we get to creating an actual parts list because we need a bunch of other information set up first. We need to make sure our labels are done. So under pipes, our label styles, plan profile labels. Now there's not too many in here. I'll probably import some from another template I have. Basically just a differentiation between sanitary and storm. Table styles, not so important, but structure label styles as well. So how do I display these in my plan view versus how do I display these in my profile view? Two very different label sets. Now, like I said, these all need to be set up beforehand because when we go and make our parts list, we need to start setting up that information from the default. And the parts list video is going to probably be a little bit of a longer video just because of the amount of detail that we need to add inside of that parts list itself. It's also a good idea to have your pipe styles set up and your structure styles. So for the remainder of this video, we'll quickly create a pipe label style and potentially we'll create a structure label style as well. So under the pipes label styles plan profile, I'm going to right click and select new. And I'm going to name this storm plan label. And then I always like to put in the pipe size beside it, or not the pipe size, the text size beside it. General tab, right now everything is set to Autodesk defaults. I don't have any of my other styles in here, so we'll just leave it as is. My layer, and I'm going to find C, sanitary sewer label, C storm sewer text. We'll leave all that default. Inside of here, the layout tab, we have our contents tab, and this is where I'm going to build my label itself. I want my text height to be, 2 millimeters, as that is what I specified in the name. Now, under the description, I'm going to take a look at all the options that I can add into this. Civil 3D gives us an immense amount of information that we could pull from a pipe label or from a simple pipe itself. Everything from the wall thickness to the material to width, diameter, height, start northings and eastings, 2D lengths, outer diameter, drop across span. So quite a lot of information we could pull. However, we tend to keep it simple and only use a few pieces of information. So the first one I'm going to start with is pipe diameter. Inner pipe diameter. Now it's going to display as that 254 millimeters when we go to draw it. It's going to display as the actual size we typed it in. However, I can modify that after. So my unit is millimeters. My precision will just be 1. So inner pipe diameter. And then I'm going to add in my %C for the diameter symbol. And this will be my storm label. So 250 diameter storm. I'm going to use my pipe material. I'm going to switch it to uppercase just in case I've specified otherwise. My length as well. There's 2D length and there's 3D length. In the grand scheme of things, these will be within a millimeter of each other because we're dealing with such minuscule slopes. So I'll just use 2D length. My unit in this case is meters. My precision will be 0.01. And then finally, I want to denote my pipe slope. So you see that it actually takes a lot more time to find information in the list than it does to actually place it in and create the label itself. So what this label is going to tell me is my inner pipe diameter. It's a storm pipe, the material of the pipe, either PVC or concrete, my 2D length in meters, and my pipe slope. And I'll throw a percent sign behind. I'm not sure if I need this or not. Civil 3D might automatically do it, but we won't know until we go to create the label itself. So I'll hit OK. We can zoom in on this, but it doesn't really tell us what we want it to say in here. Now set up all your other label styles, information, if you want X offsets, Y offsets, what color, what layer it's on, any background mask, gaps, borders on it. You can place those in as needed. Under the drag state tab, we also have the same information. Now drag state is for when you leader the label away. So the only things I'm going to change in here is my arrowhead size and my text height for when I do leader it away. Now that was a quick pipe label, and I'll hit OK. And I'm going to go to my structure label, and I'll make a new structure label because this one is a slightly different method. Now under the general tab, we can actually see the information here. So I'm going to name this storm plan label as well. Two millimeters. Now when we go to add these in, there is a differentiation between what's a pipe label, what's a structure label, so they're not, you won't confuse them. General tab, again, I'm going to use the same label, C-SSWR-text. The layout tab, right now we have structure text. Under the contents is a description. The text height will be 2 millimeters. So I'm going to start off with the description. And my very first description is going to be the name of the object. Now, when I place in pipes or when I place in manholes, I want them to be named properly. So the first manhole, I'll name storm manhole 1, for example. So I want the name, and we'll hit OK. In fact, I could probably build a few other pieces of information underneath the name itself. I'm going to hit enter. And the next thing I want to know is the structure northing and easting. So I'm going to find northing in here. So structure northing, I want it to meters, and I don't need a precision of 4 decimals. I only need 3. So then I'm going to place an N, add this structure northing in, and then I'll place an easting, and I'll select structure easting. Again, 3 decimals, then I'll add that in. Usually we also want to know the offset from the closest alignment. So again, I will look through this list and find structure offset, and then station as well to build into my label. And again to the millimeters, and I want it in station format. So when we hit OK, we see that we have the structure name, the northing and easting, the offset, and the station. Now another important thing with manhole structure labels is we also add in the connected pipes. Now there is a special button in order to do that. So if we click this little A here, we see we can add in text, lines, blocks, reference text, and text for each. So if I select text for each, we have structure all pipes, we have all pressure pipes, we have inflow pipes, and we have outflow pipes. Now, if you want to split these into in and out, you can make 2 categories here. Otherwise, the way Civil 3D adds them to the label will be random, potentially on the way that you drew them. So if you want to see the outflow first, I would select outflow pipes, hit OK, and it adds it into the list here. We'll have to modify some of the anchor components. But as soon as I do this, I will rename it. outflow pipe. My anchor point, my anchor component will be on structure text. So I want it to read off this structure text, and I should go and set some of this information up as well. Where do you want it to attach to? Do you want it to attach to the top left? Do you want it to attach to the middle center? It's completely up to you how you set your labels up. But when the majority of the time I will leader these away, so the text should go and line itself up default on the left. So I'll just leave that on middle center, and my outflow pipes will be the top center of the bottom center. So my anchor component will be the bottom center of the structure text, and this label text, I want it to attach the top center of this label text to the bottom center of this text here. Now this is also 2.0 millimeters, and I will go into my label text contents now, and I will delete this, and I'll start modifying it. So three pieces of information I need in here are the direction, if it's in or out, and the elevation. So connected pipe flow direction, I want it in uppercase. So this will be south. And then we need the, connected pipe direction first. Connected pipe direction, south. This will be in or out. And then I need the invert. Connected pipe invert elevation and to the meter. So if I hit OK, we see southeast out, invert of 3.175. I'm going to make another text for each for the inflow pipes. And again, I want to attach it to my outflow pipe in the bottom center of the inflow pipe. And then I want the top center of this piece of text as well to do the inflow pipes. So I'll come back in here, and essentially it's the exact same. Connected pipe direction, uppercase, connected pipe flow direction, uppercase, and then invert, invert elevation, sorry I couldn't find it. And we'll hit OK. And we see it doesn't show up on this structure here, but if we pan down to this one here, we have northwest in, southeast out. So once that's set up, the final piece of information that I do want to add is another piece of structure text. So I'm just going to add a plain old text line. I want to know my sump elevation along with, if you need anything else added, by all means add that information in yourself. So I want it to attach to my inflow pipes, the bottom center of that inflow pipe. The label text will be my sump elevation. And again, we don't put a sump in a manhole here, but it's good to have this information readily available so you can monitor it and you can see that, see the elevation and see that what you have created is aligning to the rules here. So we've created a label that has our structure name, our northing and easting, offset station along a specific alignment. We have our outflow pipes, we have our inflow pipes, and we have our sump elevation. Now drag state, all I'm going to change is the text height to 2.0 millimeters, and I tend to put a border around these labels to make them look nice and have it contained in a nice boxed in label. So again, that video, a quick run through of the structure rule sets and making a quick storm label for our pipes and a manhole label for our structures. I'm going to import some previous labels that I've created for this, with proper settings and proper standards just to show you what can be done. I won't actually be going through those because they're all easily buildable through the layout tab here.